Welcome to the CFS online training. I am Karen Blako, and in this module I will cover the 7 steps of dry sanitation. For this module, our objective is to go through the steps of dry sanitation and to understand how important an organized and well-sequenced sanitation process is, as well as recognize the importance of sanitation GMPs. First of all, I want to provide you with the whole overview of these 7 steps of dry sanitation, as this shows the sequence which is very important for sanitation to be effective. Step 1 is the pre-sanitation preparation. Step 2, disassembly of the equipment. Step 3, dry clean. Step 4, a detail clean. Step 5, a self-inspection. Step 6, a post-sanitation or pre-op inspection. And last but not least, step 7, your sanitize or disinfection step and reassembly. First of all, we need to prepare our area for sanitation by removing all materials and taking it to the warehouse or storage, as well as dispose of any waste that's in the area. It is very important that during all the steps, we follow the GMP rules. Part of our preparation is to get ready for sanitation by getting our materials ready, like our sanitation GMPs, all safety-related tools like lockout/tagout locks, appropriate PPE, etc. We also need to have our cleaning tools and chemicals ready to go. Safety is always first, so for any equipment we will be cleaning, we need to disconnect the power using the lockout/tagout procedure. After the lockout/tagout, we can start to disassemble parts, for example catch pans or motor housing, or maybe some framework, etc. This is to create access to the rest of the frame for effective cleaning. We will need to follow the SSOP for which parts will need to be disassembled and how. And whilst we are disassembling, we can also check our equipment for any damage which might have happened during production, and document if we find any damage so that this can be flagged to maintenance. During the dry cleaning step, the goal is to remove about 90% of visual soil. This dry cleaning will need to happen top down to prevent any recontamination of already cleaned surfaces. And any tools we use for the dry cleaning step will need to be color-coded for the different zones in the equipment, like food contact and non-food contact. Before we move on to the next step, it is important to gather all the soil or debris and dispose of it. For the detail cleaning step, based on the surface, the structure, soil, and area that requires cleaning, the appropriate method will need to be selected. For example, vacuum, dry steam, or disposable alcohol wipes. And in some cases, it might be beneficial to use compressed air. However, we will need to be very mindful when and where to use this, as compressed air easily spreads soil around. And the pressure will always need to be below 2 bar or 30 psi. At this stage of the sanitation process, we will clean the floors. We can use vacuum or controlled dry cleaning methods like dry steam or mopping. And then it is the correct time to clean the drains in the area. And for drain cleaning, we will need dedicated, clearly marked tools, as well as specific drain cleaning PPE that is used for drain cleaning only. And finally, before moving to the next step, it is important to clean and sanitize all the tools we used and change PPE to prevent cross-contamination going into the next step. To ensure the equipment or line is ready for a pre-op inspection, we will perform a self-inspection. And for an effective inspection, tools like flashlights and a checklist are important. When we inspect equipment, we should also inspect the entire surrounding area. And if during the self-inspection we find any food, debris, or soil, we will need to re-clean and document the finding as well as the corrective action on the checklist. During the post-sanitation or pre-op inspection, the inspector will need to wear the appropriate GMP to protect the equipment from any contamination. The inspector will need to be trained on how to inspect and where to inspect, and use appropriate tools like a flashlight or a stainless steel mirror for the visual inspection, as well as using a checklist. In this part, we can also use verification tools like ATP swabbing, allergen swabbing, or micro swabbing like APC. And again, just like during the self-inspection, it's important to inspect the entire surrounding area. If we find any visual soil or have out-of-spec ATP numbers or failed allergen swabs during the inspection, we will need to re-clean and document the finding as well as the corrective action on the checklist. This is the last step of the cleaning process. Based on the equipment or the surface, we will need to choose the appropriate sanitizing method, like spraying or wiping. After sanitizing the equipment, it is time to sanitize the floor, and we can sanitize the floor using a bucket and a mop or controlled spraying. And last, we reassemble the equipment. If there is any recontamination taking place during reassembly, we can resanitize that surface. Let's recap what we have covered during this module. To achieve effective sanitation, it's important to have a step-by-step and well-sequenced approach to dry cleaning. It's kind of like climbing the stairs. If you run up the stairs and skip steps, there is a higher risk of tripping and falling. It's important not to trip and fall, and to go through the process step by step. During the process, it is always important to follow GMP rules and change GMPs between the cleaning step and the inspection and sanitizing step to prevent cross-contamination after cleaning. Thanks for watching and listening. I hope you can apply your learnings into your daily job going forward. If you want to learn more or you have any questions, you can connect with us using the information shown on the slide.